Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal to leave for Uganda tonight to attend the Non-Aligned Movement Summit in Kampala. All but emergency services at the BP Kerala Institute of Health Sciences at a halt since 4 days. The meeting at Health Ministry to resolve the issue ends inconclusive. China records population decline for second straight year, underscoring concerns about future growth of the world's second largest economy. And Bagmati secured their second win at the Prime Minister Cup men's cricket tournament, defeating departmental team Trivan Army by 3 wickets. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal is scheduled to leave for Uganda tonight to participate in the 19th Non-Aligned Movement NAM Summit. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has said the Nepali delegation led by Premier Dahal will leave at 2:15 a.m. tomorrow morning on a flight of Qatar Airlines. The summit will be held in Uganda's capital Kampala on Friday and Saturday this week. The Premier is scheduled to address the plenary session of the summit on the theme Deepening Cooperation for Shared Global Affluence on Friday. Premier Dahal is also scheduled to hold bilateral dialogues with head of participating nations, government leaders, as well as high-ranking officials of various countries. Prior to this, Minister for Foreign Affairs NP South had left for Uganda Monday night to attend the ministerial-level meeting scheduled for tomorrow. Meeting of high-ranking officials from participating countries had been held on Monday and Tuesday. The summit is set to hold discussion of the report prepared by the ministerial-level meeting, review the progress achieved in implementation of the outcomes of the 18th NAM summit held in 2019, and also conclude and endorse the Kampala Declaration. Premier Dahal is scheduled to return on Sunday next week. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has directed to conclude the process of police integration within 15 days' time. In a meeting held at Baluatar this morning, attended by the Minister for Home Affairs, Narankaji Shrestha, and Inspector General of Nepal Police, Basanta Kuwar, the Prime Minister directed the two entities to conclude the process within 15 days of time in accordance to existing laws. The Premier had said the lack of federal laws and delay in integration of police had created challenges at the provincial levels. He also added that those who oppose federalism had taken this as an excuse to attack the government. Premier Dahal also directed concerned ministries to figure out an immediate and long-term solution to issues related to cooperatives and said recent developments had highlighted on the need to form an effective monitoring entity to keep an eye on cooperatives and also to categorize these institutions based on their status. At a separate meeting with the Minister for Labour and Employment and Chief Secretary, among others, the Prime Minister directed all concerned to ensure Nepalese leaving for foreign employment or visit visas have smooth immigration experience. Moving on, the discussion held at the Ministry of Health and Population earlier today to address the issues witnessed in Dharan's BP Kerala Institute of Health Sciences ended inconclusive. As per the directives issued by Prime Minister Dahal, Minister for Health Mohan Bahadur Basnet summoned officials of the institute at the ministry for discussion. Minister Basnet, as well as high-ranking officials of the ministry, Acting Vice Chancellor of the institute Dr. Prahlad Karki, Rector Professor Sanjeev Sharma and Registrar Surya Prasad Sangrola, among others, of the institute had attended the meeting. The meeting that had dwelt on general issues of the institute failed to reach a conclusion. Following discussion with the minister, the officials of the institute have geared up to hold meeting with Chief Secretary Baikunta Adyal as well. They have said that some were government-related issues and that the matter will be concluded after holding discussion with the Chief Secretary. Registrar Surya Prasad Thungel said discussion with Chief Secretary has also been scheduled for tomorrow morning. Doctors, teachers and staffers of BP Kerala Institute of Health Sciences have been staging protests, leading to suspension of all other services except emergency, demanding for their promotion. Minister for Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation Sudan Kirati has claimed he has achieved 101 tasks in 1 year at the ministry. Minister Kirati, who assumed office on this very day last year, has said the first 3 months in office were spent on minor improvements and the remaining 9 months on medium-scale achievements. However, Minister Kirati was deemed weak during Prime Minister Dahal's work evaluation of ministries. Meanwhile, the minister claimed he ran a 17-week cleaning campaign at Pashupati Temple premise, constructed toilets for visitors, gave momentum to the Lumbini master plan, began process to include Tilaura Court in the World Heritage List, operated heritage bus service in the valley, and an electric shuttle bus from Trivandrum International Airport's internal terminal to the Golden Gate. Armed police force have been mobilized to control smuggling and other illegal activities that are conducted via Trivandrum International Airport. The Department of Customs at the airport has said that the move has been adopted in order to control the increasing number of cases of gold smuggling through the airport. Prior to this, private security company had been given the responsibility of customs security. 30 armed police force personnel have been mobilized under the command of Armed Police Force Inspector for security check. The check under the direct supervision and direction of Armed Police Force has begun with a view to improve security at the airport and to ensure effective service delivery to the service seekers. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, why have the problems of BP Kerala Institute of Health Sciences not been resolved despite the lapse of long period of time? Your options are A. Political intervention, B. Poor management, and C. Influence of interest groups. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Welcome back. The mountainous and upper hilly region have witnessed slight snowfall and rainfall. This includes Dolakha's Kalinchok, Soilung, Beding, among others. Farmers have shared some respite, saying that they are now prepared to plant potatoes. They also say they now look forward to their wheat plantation. According to Department of Hydrology and Meteorology, there are partial effects of the westerly winds in Nepal, and few places in the mountainous and upper hilly regions of Koshi, Bagmati, Gandaki, Karnali and Sudur Paschim provinces are likely to witness slight rainfall and snowfall. Batnagar Metropolis has directed to close all the educational institutions in the local level amid the dip in mercury. Issuing a notice, the Metropolis has directed to close all the schools from today until Friday. The authority has said that the decision has been made considering the difficulty in conducting classes amid the cold wave and the negative impacts on the health of students. The dip in mercury and increase in cold wave have been reported in various districts of Tarai region, including Batnagar. Now, police have arrested an individual on charge of raping a 13-year-old girl. District Police Administration Mahottari has said that 45-year-old Upendra Singh Kushwaha of Goshala Municipality in Mahottari has been arrested on charge of gang rape. Police have added that search is on for other individuals involved in the incident. Police have said that Kushwaha had lured the girl while she was sleeping on the night of 6th of January and raped her. Police have also arrested Kushwaha after the family of the victim filed a complaint at the area police office in Mahottari's Goshala. Let's move on to international update. China's population has declined for a second consecutive year, underscoring concerns about the future growth of the world's second-largest economy. Data released today showed a population of 1.409 billion by the end of 2023, a 2.08 million decrease from 2022. The most recent decline is double that of the previous year, which marked the first population drop in 60 years. Experts, however, say this fall is expected given the country's expanding urban class and record low birth rate. China is following the pattern of other countries that have rapidly deindustrialized, experts say, although the pace of change has been quick. Beijing today said the birth rate was now down to 6.39 per 1,000 people, on par with other advanced East Asian nations such as Japan and South Korea. The country has seen falling birth rates for decades after imposing in the 1980s a controversial one-child policy to control overpopulation at that time. The government lifted the policy in 2015 to try and stem the population fall and has brought in a series of other incentives as well, such as subsidies and payments to encourage people to start families. In 2021, it further relaxed the limit to allow couples to have up to 3 children. However, the policies have borne little impact, with young people in modern cities citing deterrents like the cost of living and career priorities after a 3-year COVID period. Around 20 people have been killed in Thailand in an explosion at a firework factory north of Bangkok, according to police, as authorities inspected the site but are yet to find survivors. It was not immediately clear what caused the incident, which took place mid-afternoon in Suphan-Buri province, about 120 kilometers north of Bangkok. A preliminary investigation put the death toll at 20, according to a police statement, with many injured. Prime Minister Sretha Thavisin was briefed on the explosion while at the World Economic Forum Davos, Switzerland, and urged a swift investigation. Search and rescue operations continued today at a site where at least 2 people were killed and dozens injured when explosives stored at a private residence detonated in Nigeria's Oyo state. A witness saw several collapsed houses and wrecked cars from the impact of yesterday's blast, which sent panicked residents into the streets. Emergency services and security officials used bulldozers to clear debris during a search and rescue operation in a neighborhood in Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State, about 130 kilometers from Nigeria's commercial capital of Lagos. Police cordoned off the blast site where a huge crater could be seen from a distance. Yemen's Houthi group held a funeral procession earlier today for 4 of its fighters killed in the recent U.S. strikes on the group's controlled parts of the country. The funeral, which was held at Al-Shab Mosque in the capital Sana'a, was attended by Iran-allied groups, officials and supporters. Attacked by Iran-allied Houthi militia on ships in the region since November have affected companies and alarmed major powers. An escalation of Israel's more than 3-month-old war with Palestinian Hamas militants in Gaza. The Houthis say they are acting in solidarity with Palestinians and have threatened to expand attacks to include U.S. ships in response to American and the British strikes on their sites in Yemen. In a bid to cut off their funding and supply of weapons, U.S. President Joe Biden's administration plans to put Houthi rebels back on a U.S. list of terrorist organizations. Displaced Palestinians gathered at the Gaza-Egypt border yesterday, calling on Arab nations to push aid to those impacted by war in Gaza. In response to Hamas's assault after its militant stormed across the border fence with Israel on 7th of October, killing 1,200 people and capturing 240 hostages, Israel waged a war that has driven nearly all Gazans from their homes, some several times, and caused a humanitarian crisis with food, fuel and medical supplies running low. Gaza remains under Israeli tight grip, limiting aid and essential supplies into the Strip, despite several international warnings of major humanitarian crisis in the enclave. Qatar and France have brokered a deal with Israel and Palestinian Islamist group Hamas to deliver urgent medication to some 45 hostages of Israel held by the group in Gaza in return for humanitarian and medical aid for the most vulnerable civilians. The two countries said the aid would leave Qatar for Egypt today before being taken across the Rafah border crossing. Romanian hauliers protested on the outskirts of Bucharest yesterday and blocked lanes to Siret, crossing on the Ukrainian border in northeastern Romania, causing more than 2-hour waits, according to border police data. Farmers and hauliers started protesting 8 days ago by blocking highways and slowing traffic with convoys of tractors and trucks decked in Romanian flags. The protests are against the high cost of diesel, insurance rates, EU measures to protect the environment, and pressures on the domestic market from imported Ukrainian agricultural goods. Agriculture Minister Florin Barbu and 10 Farmers Association on Monday said they had reached an agreement on a number of demands, setting clear deadlines for meeting them, but the protests have continued. Hauliers were still in negotiations with the Transport and Finance Ministries. The protesters want a moratorium on loan repayments, faster subsidy payments and separate lines at border crossings and the Black Sea port of Constanta for EU lorries and trucks from outside the bloc, including Ukraine. Port operations continued at full pace, with grains arriving at the port mainly by rail and barge across the Danube River, although road transport was also being used, the Port Authority have said. Bagmati province has secured its second win at the Prime Minister Cup men's cricket tournament, defeating departmental team Trivan Army Club by 3 wickets as Surya Thamang claimed 5 wickets. The match played at Mulpani ground was reduced to 43 overs due to wet outfield. Army had opted to bat first, winning the toss, and went all out for 97 runs in 27.1 overs. Captain Binod Bhandari top scored with 28 runs in 40 balls. Bhim Sarki contributed 18 runs and Vivek Yadav 11. None of the other batters scored in double digits. Surya Thamang was the pick of the Bagmati bowlers, claiming 5 wickets. Pratish GC and Rijan Dhakal took 2 wickets each, as Krijan Gurung took 1 wicket for Bagmati. In response, Bagmati scored 103 runs in 22.1 overs, losing 7 wickets. Ashok Podal and Pratish GC each scored 21 runs for Bagmati. Ishan Pandey and Robin Joshi added 12 runs each, and Bipin Acharya scored 10 runs. Sompal Kami claimed 3 wickets for Army, and Shahab Alam and Jitendra Mukhia claimed 2 wickets each. This was the first time Bagmati clinched a win over Army. With the win, Bagmati have climbed to the 4th position of the points table, as Army are in the 5th position. APF club defeated Gandaki province in straight sets in the Tiger Cup women's volleyball tournament. With this, the semi-final equation of the tournament has been set. APF accumulated 5 points to book a place in the semi-final as group winners. They took the first set against Gandaki 25-16, followed by 25-9 and 25-17 win in the following sets. The loss meant the journey in the tournament for Gandaki ended. In the second match of the day, New Diamond became the winner of Group B with a win over a Haryanam team from India in straight sets. New Diamond took the first set 25-17, the second 25-18 and the third set 25-16. New Diamond accumulated 6 points to become the group winners and progress into the semi-final. The semi-final matches begin at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. The first match will see a clash between defending champions APF and Army, while the second match will see New Diamond up against Police that progress to the semi-final as the Group A runners-up.
मैदान प्रवेश गरेकी छिन् कतिले आफ्नो पल्टमा पार्छ म्याच पोइन्ट लिएर बसिसकेको छ त्यो कारण पनि अब जितको ढोका ढकढकाइरहेको छ न्यू डायमन्डले यहाँ सलिना बुढा
यस समयपछि पहिलो
That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.